Hello everyone, I'm your boy BnB, and welcome back to the BnB podcast, finally. I am your co-host Ben.
And I am your co-host, Brett.
And we're back after being gone for about a week, because I got swamped with part-time job work. That was
awesome. Does that mean you have awesome amounts of money now?
No, because I had to use it all to pay for shit. I had to use it to... I bought Nick a game, because if you guys look on my channel and you watch the vlog, I actually owed him some money because he got the memory card that actually allowed me to record that vlog. So I got him Black Ops 3 on PC, and we're going to be recording a bunch of custom zombies content together. And I also had to buy a new computer chair because the one that I had broke. So... ladies and gentlemen, the squeakiness is gone. Finally.
But it's, instead of being squeaky, it is quite creaky. So I'd say it's an upgrade.
Yeah, hold on real quick. What are my filters doing?
I don't know.
There we go. Okay, now my mic filters weren't working because OBS updated.
Oh no.
They're still not quite working. What? Okay, whatever. And my monitor went black because I'm changing the intensity of my fan. Lovely.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why that happens. I'll change the I'll change the amount of air that my fan is putting out, and I guess the difference in electrical current shuts my monitor off for whatever reason. Why is it still going? Why is it still... why... open and close threshold. -9 decibels. It's still open. It's still picking up ambient audio. Why? Turn the gain down a little bit. It's telling me it's still picking up ambient audio, which is pissing me off. But... why is it doing this? Why are you doing this, big guy? Please. Wait, did it fix? Is it fixed now? Oh my god, the noise gate's fixed. Thank fuck. Anyway.
What'd you do?
I literally just dicked with it, kept opening the filter, adjusting how many decibels it captures, and then hitting OK. I did that like 3 times, and it finally worked. Now, I don't have a noise gate on your audio, but I have a noise gate on mine.
Okay.
Because your PlayStation mic technically noise gates itself. But anyway, let's move on to the actual topics that we're supposed to be talking about. 3 minutes in already.
Only 3? It had to be like 6.
They do seem to go quick, don't they? The podcasts, every once in a while, they do seem to go pretty fucking quickly. So here we go. Here's the first one. And Brett, you'll probably... I picked this one specifically for you because I know that you've been a fan of this. I know that you've been a fan of this game franchise in the past. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I picked this for you because I know that you like the game franchise. And you'll be excited about at least one of the characters on here, if not all of them.
Okay, go.
So... and again, we're Game Informer shills, so all but 2 of these are going to be from Game Informer. Are you ready for this?
No, but go ahead anyway.
Spawn, the Terminator, and the Joker join Mortal Kombat 11's roster.
Oh, shit!
Yep. So, the final entries in Mortal Kombat 11's DLC character pack have been announced, and they're awesome. Along with DC Comics' The Joker, NetherRealm is adding Todd McFarlane's Spawn, series veteran Sindel, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator T-800. And it's designed to look like his older version from the upcoming Terminator Dark Fate film. These characters join the already released DLC characters of Shang Tsung and Nightwolf. You can play as Arnie on October 8th, Sindel on November 26th, and the Joker on January 29th. and Spawn on March 17th. Each of these characters comes with unique skins and gear. This likely won't be the end of the character editions, and odds are we'll get another pack in 2020 with more familiar combatants returning and other licensed characters entering the bloody fray. So I thought that would interest you. If you either have Mortal Kombat 11 or plan on getting it, I feel like you'd...
I do actually have Mortal Kombat 11. Unfortunately, I'm not necessarily a fan of that particular one.
Really?
Mainly because they dumbed it down a lot.
What do you mean by dumbed it down? Like gore-wise or just the gameplay mechanics?
So, for example, combos, abilities, all that. In 10, or XL, you had so many options. You had 3 different variations of each character. Each variation had, like, at least 20 things they could do. The list is, like, 5 per variation in 11.
Okay.
And it's just... Except for one character who has, like, 80 things that she can do.
And who's that?
Fuck, it's some kind of fucking elder god bitch.
Oh, okay. I thought you were... I know very few about Mortal Kombat's new characters. The one that sticks out to me is Devora, because she's like the bug bitch, and she always creeps me out. Because isn't one of her fatalities where she, like, injects her opponent with, like, thousands and millions of bugs, like some Shino from Naruto shit, and, like, they burst out of their body?
I mean, yes.
That fatality was like, ew, alright, I'm done with this shit. I'm not... All of her fatalities are so fucked. But yeah, no, I thought that you'd like that maybe you'd give the game, like, you know, a second chance if you got the DLC and played as the Joker, or maybe some of these other characters. Maybe they'd be characters that you'd be more interested in playing as.
So long as Joker's moveset isn't, like, fucking... so long as they didn't just copy-paste Joker from...
Injustice.
Injustice, then, yeah, I definitely give it a shot.
So, we're about to get a live...
Oh.
We're about to get a live MK11 the Joker, and it brings up a bunch of pictures of a fucking motorcycle. What is this shit?
What?
Mortal Kombat 11 the Joker. I want to pull up a picture of him. I want to get a live reaction from you as to your thoughts as to who this, I want to get your live reaction as to how you think he looks. So I just DM'd you a picture of him from the trailer. I want to know what your opinion is of his appearance, because I think I remember seeing on Twitter a lot of people were kind of controversial about his appearance.
Jesus Christ, he looks like that one kid from Polar Express. Hey, you know what kind of train this is?
Dude, you can't... What do you mean? That kid gets all the pussy. His train knowledge gets him pussy. I don't know what you're talking about. But no, yeah.
Sure it does.
His appearance has caught a lot of backlash from people, mainly because I understand that Mortal Kombat's trying to make him look a bit more like, not human, but I guess realistically human, if that makes sense. A little bit less like full on towards the deranged side, and more like somebody who could be your neighbor that has turned deranged. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I mean, no.
Well,
That's
okay.
So out of character.
Well, I know, but, like, I don't know. I guess they're trying to make it seem a bit more like... They're making his face, like, a little bit, like, pudgier in terms of the structure, and they're making him supposedly look more like an actual human being. When in reality, Joker's face is usually very skinny and long, you know? And he's got,
it looks like his chin could cut through glass.
Yeah, he's a really bony motherfucker, but in there they kind of made him a bit more pudgier, almost like he has a healthy, you know... almost like he has a healthy outlook on life and he actually eats regularly, which is not the Joker's character. He normally doesn't look like he fucking eats food. So I think he looks alright.
No,
he could look worse.
The only thing I can remember of him ever consuming anything was water.
Yeah. He's really a guy.
He's really a guy.
Yeah, they're making him look like they're making him look like really a guy when in reality he should look like he should look like really a malnourished, insane motherfucker.
He doesn't even look all that crazy. He just looks happy to be there. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that's kind of not totally out of character if they make his character meta. Like, for example, if the Joker in MK11 kind of comes in and is like, oh, and, you know, you have, like, the Mark... This is a terrible impression, but imagine, like, the Mark Hamill voice, like, oh, I've heard of Mortal Kombat. This is very graphic. This should be fun, you know, shit like that. But, like, if it's not meta like that, then it's kind of not in his character to be happy to be there.
I mean... I don't know. Was that canon? I mean, there was the Mortal Kombat versus DC universe.
I don't think that was canon. Same thing with Capcom versus Marvel. I don't think that was ever canon in either of their things either. I know it wasn't canon in Marvel, and it probably wasn't canon in Capcom. But, so if you're ready, I have 4 more topics to get to.
Yeah,
unless you have final comments on the Joker's look in the new Mortal Kombat, unless you want to roast it more.
That fucking comb over.
You know what he looks like? He looks like the Joker. He looks like the Joker from, what was it, Gotham, like the TV show or something? He looks like the Joker from that.
Never watched it.
Neither did I. I just saw
he's
clips.
Actually washed his hair.
Alright, so speaking of superheroes and beat-em-ups, I have another superhero-themed thing, only instead we're shifting gears from Mortal Kombat and DC to Marvel.
Okay. Okay.
There's a new game called Marvel's Avengers coming out.
Okay.
It's published by Square Enix. It's developed by Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal, and it's going to be released on May 15th, 2020, and it's going to be on all platforms: PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. As we already know, Avengers is an original story focused on the superhero team's fall from grace. The A-Day celebration meant to laud the Avengers backfires as a surprise attack on the Golden Gate Bridge serves as a little more than a distraction for the heroes, as the real threat involved blowing up the Avengers' helicarrier and leveling much of San Francisco. Okay, hold on. I'd like to throw a pause for a minute and mention that is not the Avengers' helicarrier, that is S.H.I.E.L.D.'s helicarrier. Correction. The helicarrier was never the Avengers', it was S.H.I.E.L.D.'s. And leveling much of San Francisco. As the city struggles to pick up the pieces, anger and blame falls on the shoulders of the iconic Marvel heroes. Putting the power in my hands, so I'm not going to read the rest of this, actually, because it's just basically describing what the trailer shows, but basically, it's a third-person beat-em-up game. Basically, a third-person linear beat-em-up game, and there's been a lot of people hyped for it, and there's been a lot of backlash received for it. I'm kind of hyped for it because if I get it, I'm gonna go into it with like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 levels of expectation, right? I'm gonna go into it with jack shit for expectation. Because from the gameplay that I've seen, it looks really fucking repetitive. It looks like they tried to put a serious twist on one of the fucking Lego Avengers games, is literally what it looks like.
So, in other words, it's Ultimate Alliance. Gotcha.
Yeah, Ultimate Alliance, but instead of top-down with like a more arcadey style, it's like third-person where they're trying to imitate the Arkham games. But here's the problem. Even in the trailer, even in the short... I didn't watch the entire trailer. Even in the short gameplay trailer that they released, the game looks boring. And here's my... And I didn't even have to watch the whole thing, because here's my evidence. They start with Thor, okay? I've always liked Thor. He's not my he's far from my favorite, but he's definitely better than Hawkeye. And,
Really?
I think so, anyway. I like him a lot more than Hawkeye. Hawkeye is... And I know that this is a common but also controversial opinion. Although Hawkeye is, yes, skilled with a bow, at the end of the day, he's just a dude with a bow who can shoot it real good. And that's kind of... I mean, at least Black Widow has kind of like the espionage 007 Solid Snake shit going on, but Hawkeye's
Have
just...
you seen Endgame?
I have seen Endgame.
Then you should know exactly what point I'm trying to make here. Matt, he's more than just a guy with a bow. Sure, he's just a human.
I don't know.
Mother of God, try and stop him.
I don't know. His thing, I don't know. It's just... His thing is with bows, and the one time in the movie he was cool, he had a sword. So... so to me, it's just kind of like... The fact... I'm not gonna go see a solo movie, I'm sorry. If I wanted to see somebody be skilled with a sword, I'd just wait for the Blade movie or TV show to come out, or go back and watch the old Blade movies. Like, that we don't need another, like, fantastic swordsman. But I will say that, like, for example, the thing about this Thor gameplay was when he attacks an enemy, it is the same combo every time. I'm not sure. So basically, it's basically just mashing X or square, just over, or whatever the button will be, over and over and over again, and he does the same 3 to 4 hit combo every time, and that worries me because yeah, it'd be cool if we had like, you know, like a light like quick attack, a heavy longer attack, and then we had like some other cool dynamic shit to do. But Thor's attacks so far in the trailer don't go farther than swing his hammer in the same 3 to 4 hit combo, and he can throw it. That's pretty much it. Like, the only thing that stood out to me as really cool about it was that when he throws his hammer, it will stay wherever you threw it until you hit a button to recall it back to him. Which I thought was cool. Because then you could do some really cool shit. Like, throw it at a guy, then maneuver yourself, and then when all the rest of the enemies that you didn't hit yet are in a line, you just recall your hammer and it hits them on the way back, or some cool shit like that. Or, like, you could do some really cool combos with throwing your hammer. But other than that, it just seems like the close quarters combat aspect of it is really dull. Because he has, like, the same 4-hit animation combo with the hammer, and then it does switch it up. When you don't have the hammer, he does do different animations, but it's the same 4-hit combo, just with a slightly different animation. It seems kind of boring. I didn't see any of Iron Man or Captain America's gameplay footage, just because, again, Thor bored me to the point where I didn't want to watch it anymore. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull the same thing that I did with the Joker. I'm going to send you an image from the game. It is of Captain America, Iron Man. You can kind of see Thor behind Iron Man, and it has Black Widow. I want you to give your opinion on how these characters look in terms of graphics and just if they actually look like their characters or not. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. It is really hard to find people that look like these heroes without using the MCU people. It's really hard. But
I mean, at this point, they might as fucking well use Robert Downey Jr. because Stanley already said Iron Man can't be anyone else.
Yeah, and I just now saved the image, so that way when I go back to edit this podcast later, I can pop this image up on screen that we're looking at right now. But
so, I'm just kind of wondering about fucking Captain America right here. Like, you know that one scene, like, fucking legs go all the way up, Griffin from Family Guy?
yeah.
He's the opposite of that. Fucking torso goes all the way down, Griffin.
Okay. So, here's kind of what, like, each of these heroes... The only person who looks decent in this is Black Widow, I'd say. Without actually using Scarlett Johansson, she looks fine. But, that being said, Thor looks like a discount blonde big boss. Iron Man in this picture looks like a Gears of War character. And Captain America looks like the fucking protagonist from Call of Duty World War II's campaign. Like, that's literally... What? You're lagging, my man. Alright, what'd you say?
What is the name of the...
The name of the guy who plays Captain America? Is that what you said?
No.
We're fighting with we're wrestling with lag here. That's why I'm having a hard time understanding you, because you're lagging a little bit.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me now?
You sound a lot clearer now, yeah.
Okay. What's the name of the guy from Half-Life 2?
Gordon Freeman.
Iron.
Iron Man is Gordon Freeman, dude. Alright. Alright. Alright, now I'm gonna send you a picture of the Hulk now.
Oh no. I don't want it.
He doesn't even look like the Hulk he looks fine. Hulk actually looks fine, but my point is that he doesn't look like the Hulk from the MCU. He doesn't even look like a new Hulk that we never seen before. He actually looks like the Hulk model that they used for the 2003 movie.
Okay, so I don't know how people think about this opinion, but I personally think that Hulk movie is part of the MCU.
No, it is. But my point is that after the 2003 movie, and I think like another movie after that, Hulk switched actors, and when Hulk switched actors, they also made a new Hulk CGI model that used the current guy's face. So what I'm saying is, it looks like they just used the old actor's Hulk model for this game. Because it looks all like very similar to him. To his Hulk.
It really does. I don't know, but his hair feels kind of off.
His hair feels off? Yeah. Something that a lot of people were saying, and I can full-heartedly agree with this, something a lot of people were saying is that the graphics of this game, in terms of the costumes, like Iron Man's suit, Captain America's suit, you know, all the like actual costumes and actual physical inanimate objects like that the characters are wearing or using or around, look fantastic. But the actual human characters themselves have been compared to one or two things, and I couldn't agree more. Either really early current gen stuff, like really early, like Call of Duty World War II, for example, or Call of Duty Ghosts, like that early next gen shit, or they've also been compared to WWE 2K16 characters.
Fucking Christ.
Which they kind of...
These are not them! You've captured their stunt doubles!
They actually look like WWE creator wrestlers, and it's fucking terrible. Oh my god. Alright. I know that they're modeled against...
Stunt doubles.
I want to put a disclaimer in the podcast right here. I know that they are real people. I know that they're modeled after real people. And I'm not saying that the real people that they're modeled after look terrible. I'm saying that the CG models that they made of these people in-game look like shit. They look like WWE created characters. It looks like they tried to make the actors that they modeled these off of, but instead of using, like, you know, that 72 camera motion capture shit that, like, LA Noire used and shit, instead of using all that, they just remade their likeness in a WWE game and were like, yeah, let's download this head model and put it in our game. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, it looks like when you try to make Nicolas Cage in Fallout 4. Like, it's really it's really not good. It's really not good. Alright, that's enough of that fucking dumpster fire. So,
and another train piles on.
Yeah. So I gave you one. I gave you one with the Mortal Kombat, so now I'm gonna give myself one.
Right. Okay.
Brett.
The fuck you want?
The Final Fantasy VIII Remaster has a release month. Not a date, a month.
Oh hey!
Oh hey!
Really buy that.
Oh hey, your audio got cleaned up as well. You were kind of muffled for a while, but it's good now.
Oh. Awesome.
It was just connection compression. We could still hear you pretty good.
Good. Okay.
So, Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, releasing in September, apparently. I don't know if they mean this September or next year in September. I hope they mean this September, because here's the thing. Oh no, it is a date, September 3rd. I will read you the article, but I want to make this abundantly clear first. This is not a remaster like Final Fantasy VII was, right? Final Fantasy VII got a complete makeover. It got rebuilt from the ground up practically.
Uh-huh.
Which, from the feedback that I've received and how I personally feel like it, I hate it. Because they've gone from, like, the strategic turn-based combat, where you have, like, weight bars and all that shit, to run around and hack and slash. Which just doesn't... I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Kingdom Hearts. And I mean, I don't love it, but the Kingdom Hearts that I played, which I played the original, and, like, halfway through 2, they were good. And the only reason why I stopped playing them is just because I personally never owned them. I just played other friends' versions of copies. But They were good games. It's just I feel like the Kingdom Hearts combat style needs to stay in Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts gameplay was designed for Kingdom Hearts. But then they remastered Final Fantasy VII and they're like, hey, y'all like Kingdom Hearts, right? Yeah, let's throw it in Final Fantasy. And it's like, no, don't throw it in Final Fantasy. For the love of God, do not throw it in Final Fantasy. Like, it was turn-based.
You also have to keep in mind that they've been moving towards open combat rather than turn-based in Final Fantasy for ages now.
I know, but turn-based is the shit. I mean, at least to me, and a lot of people who are from that era. But, I don't know. I think it would have blown over better if they had kind of like almost two different versions of the game that you could toggle, where it was like, okay, if you like the more traditional style of combat, you can make it kind of tuned towards that more. Not completely that, but just kind of tuned towards it more. Kind of like how Final Fantasy 13 was. Final Fantasy 13, from what I remember playing it for the short amount of time that I played it, was like a really kind of fucky hybrid between the two. You could physically move your character wherever you wanted to in the arena, but you had to wait to attack until a certain timer was up.
Interesting.
So something like that in the new Final Fantasy VII remake, that would be, I guess, fine, a good transitioning. But it just looks like Kingdom Hearts to me. I don't know. It's kind of weird. However, Final Fantasy VIII's remaster is nothing more than just a graphical remaster. So here's what it says. At E3 this year, Square Enix finally broke their silence on the lack of a Final Fantasy VIII remaster, long thought to be the result of either music licensing issue for the game's main theme or a complete loss of the game's source code. But they announced it. While not an overhaul on the level of the Final Fantasy VII remake, it is a remarkably improved facelift from one of the most divisive Final Fantasy mainline titles. We now know that we won't have to wait long for the game to release, as it will be hitting September 3rd. You can check out the release date trailer below. So in other words, it's just basically a facelift for the game, like they said. It's a graphical boost, which I think is the perfect thing to do. Because Final Fantasy VIII, to me, yeah, it had some exploits, it had some bugs, it had some, like, I mean, I'm sure the bugs will be fixed, but it had some, like, shit that was kind of wrong with it. But I'm more of the kind of person that enjoys when a game is a little bit broken. Just a little bit, not so broken that it's unplayable, but just a couple things are a little broken. Like, for example, I loved how in Modern Warfare 2 you can throw on fucking C4 or Claymores with a grenade launcher with one-man army and just infinitely noob tube in the match. It was hilarious. It was infuriating when it happened to you, and it was hilarious when you did it back. It was just the dumbest shit. The incomplete, the quote-unquote flaws in the maps. Right, you have, like, Backlot in COD 4, where you could jump on the dumpster, hit the top of the wall, and jump out of the map. Brett, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, maybe, but some people watching will. And, you know, there was that one map in Modern Warfare 2, I think it was called Invasion, where you could jump on top of the Humvee and jump on top of the fence, and you could kind of glitch your way out of the map, like, halfway with that. Like, that kind of shit is what we strive for. That kind of shit is what I strive for. It's not something that completely breaks the game. It's not like a lot of these exploits or glitch spots are there and people can really hardcore abuse them. Some people did, but most of them were harmless. Meaning, like, when somebody got out of the map on Backlot, it wasn't that huge of a detriment to the rest of the people playing quote-unquote fairly. Because, for example, when you got out of the map in Backlot, there was only one or two places where the person outside the map could shoot in. And even then, they'd only get a kill on you, and then you can just shoot right back through that gap. Or through that, like, fence or whatever. So it wasn't even, like, that much of an advantage. It was just cool little flaws in the map. That being said, I hope that this game still keeps their stuff like that, where there's still a couple little exploits, some EXP farms, you know, little shit like that. But when I'm actually playing the game, because the game always had amazing cutscenes, pre-rendered cutscenes. Even for its time, in 1997, that shit looked fire. They still hold up today, the pre-rendered cutscenes. But the problem was the actual gameplay. A lot of the environments in Final Fantasy VIII were really zoomed out, and there were times where you'd be moving your characters around, and they look like nothing but a conglomeration of about 10 pixels. Right? So... So if that got a facelift and it actually moved on to, like, legitimate polygons at farther distances or something, and you could actually make out your characters and it got an uplift like that, to where the environments actually looked real and, like, it actually looked, like, super good, that shit would be fire, dude. I'd love that. Instead of the backgrounds looking like digital art pieces, they're actually 3D rendered sets. And instead of a jumble mess of low poly pixels, they're actual full rendered characters standing in front of you. That shit would be awesome. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it's just like the way that I want it to, because that's what it sounds like it's gonna be. Now, of course, it probably won't be. Exactly, but...
I'm hoping it turns out exactly the way I want it to be.
How many times have people in the gaming world said that and the devs fucked it up?
Well, when everybody wants it to be different.
Yeah. Alright. Brett, are we... What's your opinion of the Final Fantasy VIII remake? You said you're probably gonna get it?
I'm thinking about getting it.
I can't wait to play it again. It's been so long, and y'all best bet there's gonna be a fucking Let's Play, like, live streams on that bitch. 100%. Because I tried to do it before, back when I first got my gaming PC set up, and the problem with the Final Fantasy VIII on PC is that it's so goddamn old, it doesn't really work that well with OBS. So I'm hoping that this new updated version I can actually stream legitimately and have a blast with. So we have two last topics, and they'll go kind of quick because they're literally just memes, pretty much. Second to last topic. This is from Engadget.com, because they're pretty much one of the only places that I actually found who's covering this news-wise, because it's not that big a news. It's just kind of a little meme. 2 Halo characters are joining Gears 5. You will need Gears 5 Ultimate Edition to play as Emil A239 and Cat B320. This is kind of cool, but also a fucking meme. 13 years into their shared history, you would think Halo and Gears of War would have already crossed over before today. After all, following Microsoft's purchase of the Gears franchise in 2014, the 2 properties are the company's biggest and most important exclusives. So it's a bit strange to see it's not Master Chief, Halo's main hero, joining the fight against the Gears Locust villains. Instead, it's 2 characters from 2010's Halo Reach. Specifically, Noble Team Spartans Emil and Kat will join Gears 5's Horde mode when the game launches on September 10th. The 2 superhuman warriors will be available as part of the Halo Reach character pack, which comes included with all Gears 5 Ultimate Edition purchases, which are $80, on Xbox One and PC. The character pack is also available to those who download the game through Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription service. As an added bonus, Game Pass Ultimate holders get to try the game and character pack on September 6th instead of the 10th. So, I'm sure, I'm not going to read any more of the article itself, and I'm sure that the article might bring it up, or they might not. Basically, this is just a marketing tactic to get people hyped about, they're trying to bring the Halo Reach on PC and MCC hype into Gears to try to boost Gears' image, so that way more people will buy Gears 5.
Good luck.
It kind of doesn't work, but kind of does, if that makes sense. If they were just costumes for existing Gears characters, I wouldn't be interested. Honestly, if Gears 5 releases, and I hear good things about Gears 5, and then on top of that, this pack becomes available for purchase later down the line without having to pre-order Gears 5, I will get Gears 5. Because not only has it been a long time since I played a Gears of War title, and I heard that 4 was kind of ass, so this is kind of like an which is why I'm waiting for reviews and like YouTubers to actually make content on it, reviewing it. But I wasn't sold until I found out that the characters that they're adding into Gears' Horde mode, Kat and Emil, are fully voiced by their original Halo Reach voice actors as well.
Oh.
That is interesting to me. I'm like, okay. Alright, Microsoft, now you have my attention.
Okay.
Because they're not even, it's not like there's going to be an Emil skin for Marcus Phoenix or Dom. You know what I mean? They're their actual own. It's not like Jace is going to throw on Emil, Jace the black guy from the new games. It's not like he's going to throw on Emil's armor. Like, it's actually going to be Emil. The same thing with Kat. Like, it's not just going to be Sam Byrne or Anya Stroud or whoever that new bitch is in Kat's armor. It's gonna be like legitimately the Russian voiced Kat from fucking Reach. So that's pretty cool. Now the only thing that they need is a assault rifle skin for the Lancer and a shotgun skin for the Gnasher, and then you'll have me hooked, actually, to be honest. But yeah, no, that it's interesting. I'll definitely keep an eye on it, and this will definitely be something that I'll star on the topic spreadsheet. Starring it right now. So then that way it lets me know, like, hey, when we find out more about this, like, revisit it. Because we need to see, you know, is Gears 5 a good, you know, later down the line I'll be like, is Gears 5 a good game? Are the characters actually fully voiced like I heard that they were gonna be? Are they actually good characters? Are they just costume? Like what's going on, essentially? Because if they pull a Halo 5, and what I mean by that is, if they change the way that the armor looks, or if they don't give Kat her robotic arm or some dumb shit like that, I'm gonna be kind of upset. Because they pulled the same shit in Halo 5.
Spaghetti.
In Halo 5, they added Noble Team's armor to Halo 5, but the only 2 armors that look like they did in Halo Reach were George and Emil's. All the rest of them have slight little things that look dumb. Like Kat's armor, they didn't even have the balls to give it a fucking robotic arm. Carter's armor, they didn't get the shoulders right. Noble 6's armor just doesn't look like the armor from the previous game at all. So, they just kind of fucked it up.
Why would it, though?
I don't know. I guess I'm hoping too much. Right.
See, there you go. Now you understand.
Alright, are you ready For the last meme. This will be another story that I'll follow up with later
the last meme. That'll be a good meme.
Oh, it's a really good meme. I've heard nothing but complaining and bitching on Twitter for the last, 48 hours about this shit. This is from the NewYorkTimes.com, so be ready to kind of shove aside some bias here. But this is from the New York Times. This was big enough that the fucking New York Times covered it.
Uh-oh.
Did the Marvel Cinematic Universe just lose Spider-Man? Fans reel at Sony-Disney split. After months of negotiations, the two companies could not reach a deal for further cooperation over the comic book character. This could affect the future of the Avengers. So basically, what as it stands so far, and what from what I understand on August 22nd, 2019, when this is being recorded at currently 11:09 p.m., at least for me, which I think you're Eastern, so it's the same time for you.
Yeah.
From how it stands right now, Spider-Man has been removed from the MCU because Sony and Disney got their panties in a bunch about money.
Disney tried to buy Spider-Man.
Disney tried to buy Spider-Man. Sony said no. Disney got butthurt. And Sony got butthurt. And now they're butthurt at each other about money. And now supposedly Spider-Man is not in the MCU. So if you watched Far From Home and you are... did you watch Far From Home, Brett?
I have not watched Far From Home yet.
Okay, then I'll keep spoilers out of it. If you watched Far From Home and you saw it, you know what happened. And no, this means that unless they figure their shit out, we're not going to get a resolution to that. So, sorry. You're fucked.
I mean, hey, Disney, just buy Sony.
Yeah, right. After months of negotiations over the terms of their partnership on that film franchise, Sony announced on Tuesday that Kevin Feige, who helped steer Disney's Marvel Studios and its quote-unquote Avengers series to immense global success, will no longer play a role in the next live-action Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland. The news alarmed fans of the MCU, who fear that the future big-screen installments of the linked superhero stories would be weakened or even thrown into plot chaos without friendly relations between Sony, who owns the film rights to Spider-Man, and Disney, which owns the rest of the Avengers. Could the MCU go on without your friendly neighborhood web-slinger? Before I even keep reading the article, they meant that question rhetorically, and I'm going to answer it for you with a fat no. Because they can't.
Yes, it really can, though.
They can continue on, but the rest of the MCU Phase 4 is going to be weak as fuck. Because even with Far From Home, even though you haven't seen the film, I can guarantee you one thing without telling you spoilers. In that movie, they positioned Spider-Man as basically either being the leader of or being a very strong foundational member of the new Avengers. 100%. And if they do not have him in there, that means that they are going to have to put that responsibility on somebody else's shoulders. A big theme in Far From Home, and again, this isn't necessarily a spoiler because it was even in the trailers for it, is everyone in the universe's civilian populace is saying, Spider-Man, when are you going to be the next Tony Stark? Or who's going to be the next Tony Stark? Who's going to be the next Iron Man? And although I think Far From Home established that it's not Peter will be like the new Happy Hogan. And what I mean by that is he's going to be kind of like the new Iron Man's right-hand man. And without him there to do that, that's going to make whoever the new Iron Man is going to be kind of fall flat without a strong supporting character behind him trying to form this new Avengers. And I don't know who could replace Peter. I really don't. I really don't know.
Miles.
Who could fuck that. Fuck you, Brett. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up!
Which, by the way, that couldn't happen either because I'm pretty sure Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, like in general, meaning all versions of Spider-Man. Superior, Miles, all of them, probably.
Wait, hold on. All of them? All of the Spider-Man?
They own rights to Spider-Man, like the property. So I'm pretty sure that means all of it, yes. Like Spider-Gwen, because that's how Into the Spider-Verse was made. That had nothing to do with Disney. That was all Sony. Was Into the Spider-Verse. So they probably own rights to Miles, Peter, Gwen, Spider-Ham, Noir, all of the different Spider-Men that have already happened.
Okay. We got 3 other Spider-Women.
Even everything to do with even like Spider-Man's villains. They made the Venom movie. Sony did. So they have everything Spider-Man. And a lot of people have been doubting Sony's ability to continue with Spider-Man, even if Spider-Man's going to be removed from the MCU and just shoving the MCU, unfortunately, out of our minds for a minute. What's going to happen to Spider-Man? And a lot of people are looking back on the Amazing Spider-Man and going, dude, we're fucked. But if you think about it, I like to have a little bit of hope and at least think that maybe they've learned from their mistakes because they understand that the Amazing Spider-Man did not land with everyone and the fans were really pissed. And with the movie's Venom, now look, a lot of people don't like Venom. I understand that. However, and I understand that just because it did well in the box office doesn't mean it's a great movie. But as far as I've seen, a lot of critics and reviewers are saying it was an amazing movie. I think it was an amazing movie. It was kind of garbage because you can tell it was kind of terrible only in the aspect of you could tell that it was really chopped up because it was, I believe, originally meant to be a rated R movie, but they wanted to keep it at least PG-13, so then that way maybe down the line they could get a Spider-Man into that universe or something. But I still think it was an amazing movie. I still think that everyone kind of reviewed it a little bit too harshly, and it was a pretty great movie in its own regard. It definitely, in my opinion, nailed the relationship between Brock and Venom and the symbiote. Sure, the other symbiotes kind of fell flat, not gonna lie, like Riot was kind of and the other symbiotes were pretty much killed right off the bat. But
they should make it rated R so they can bring Carnage in.
Well, they already did bring Carnage in, at least in one form or fashion, at the end of the Venom movie, which, by the way, I'm sorry, Brett, if you haven't seen it, or if anyone watching has seen it, but it's been a while.
I honestly don't care.
Yeah, it's been a while, okay? You should, if you're a fan of Spider-Man and you're really a fan of Venom, you should have fucking seen the movie by now. It's probably been out on Redbox for a few months by now, so you should have already seen it. But at the end of, Venom, like the post-credit scene was Brock going into a max prison at a solitary cell, and he starts an interview with Cletus Cassidy, the serial killer.
Yeah.
Who is Carnage. So they at least introduced Cletus Cassidy, the serial killer, into the movie universe of Venom.
But what I'm saying is they can't have a movie with Carnage in it unless it's rated R.
Yes, but no. They could, but it would be shit. So they have to make it rated R in order to give it some form of integrity and not have it be shit. So now the only thing I'm gonna go from here on out is I'm gonna go to Sony Pictures' Twitter and try to find these tweets. Here we go. So here is what Sony Pictures said on their Twitter. Much of today's news about Spider-Man has mischaracterized recent discussions about Kevin Feige's involvement in the franchise. We are disappointed, but respect Disney's decision not to have him continue as a lead producer for our next live-action Spider-Man film. That was the first tweet. Second, 2 out of 3. We hope this might change in the future, but I understand that the many new responsibilities that Disney has given him, including all their newly added Marvel properties, do not allow time for him to work on IP they do not own. 3 out of 3. Kevin is terrific, and we are grateful for this help and guidance, and appreciate the path that he has helped put us on, which we will continue. So, yeah, it's not really looking good for the MCU right now. But, you know, who knows what'll happen down the fucking line.
So, I'm just gonna say this, though. Pretty sure the MCU is gonna do better than... I'm pretty sure Disney's gonna do better without Sony than Sony's gonna do without Disney.
Without a doubt. They have the Avengers. Even if Spider-Man's not in it, they still have the rest. Even if Spider-Man's not in it, they still have the rest of the fucking Avengers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those movies will still do well without Spider-Man. They've done well without Spider-Man pre-Civil War. All Spider-Man really did to the MCU was put Spider-Man fans even more invested into it than they were before. And yeah, they're gonna probably lose Spider-Man fans, but there's
only
plenty...
like the most die-hard Spider-Man fans.
Yeah. All these people still love Captain America and Hulk. And by the way, it's not going to be Steve Rogers Captain America, it's going to be the Falcon Captain America, but you get my point. They still have Black Panther, so, you know, Black Power, I guess. What else is there?
Hey, just remember,
dude,
they've still got Hawkeye.
I was about to say, dude, they still got Hawkeye! We still have somewhere to go with this. Nah, dude. You know what? They still have Captain Marvel. The chick who got her own solo movie and then was introduced literally only to save people. Like, she was literally only got her own solo movie and introduced into Endgame literally just to save you-know-who.
They're like, yo, what up?
I'm trying not to give Brett spoilers, but those of you watching who've watched the movie, you know what I'm saying. She was literally only introduced to save those two characters, and then she poofed. And then she came back one more time just to be stupidly overpowered for like 30 seconds, but, you know. She's an important character, guys. Alright. Anyways, I think that's gonna do it. We've been going for 52 minutes already. So
52 minutes
is gonna
only 52 minutes.
Only 52 minutes. So that's gonna do it for this episode of the BnB podcast. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I've been your co-host Ben.
And I've been your co-host Brett.
We'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Why are you still here?